At 6 o'clock, call the meeting to order and open the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Okay. Engel,
Here.
Wyatt,
Here.
Buns,
Present.
Lawson,
Here.
absent, Reister.
Yay! Not yay that he's absent, but yay, you got his name right.
Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mayor's comments. Welcome, everybody. About twice as many as normal. Citizens request. We have a young lady who wants to address the council, I understand?
Yes.
What she got?
Yeah. I want to bring back a homecoming parade, and so I'm looking for road closures on September 26th at 10 a.m. or September 27th at 1 for a rain date.
So would it mainly be the same route as what we have the Hudson Parade on?
I'm not sure. I was
Okay.
looking to
No
look.
more than that, probably. Okay.
It was looking just to go down Jefferson, or no, go down Washington, yeah, and then
Okay.
cut across and go up Jefferson,
Okay.
and that's it.
I don't think we'll have any objection to a formal request for that, so when you get your dates and times done, just get it to City Hall, to Katie or Chrissy, and we'll get her locked down for you.
Yeah, we can put it on the agenda as
Yep.
an item, and you don't have any objections to it, I'm assuming. And Jake probably can help you with some barricades or whatever you need to, so we can block off those streets,
And
and
then we'll let the police know,
Yeah.
keep the corners open.
I think it'll be fun.
Excited.
That is
Fun
exciting.
time.
Yeah, you guys are just nominated yourself.
Wait a
I can't wait
minute.
for my kids to play with tissue paper and chicken wire for hours.
Oh, we spent way too much time doing that.
It was fantastic.
It was so much fun.
You don't have to stick around for the whole meeting, you're welcome to go anytime you want.
But thank you for coming and
Yes.
asking, that's
Yes,
great.
thank you.
Public Works Committee meeting. Jeff, you want to go through that?
Yep, we met on Wednesday the 15th at 7 a.m. here in the council chamber. Attendance was myself, Jeff Lawson, Jeremy Even, Neil Schilling, and Jake Hovey. We discussed and reviewed the bids for the dugout project. That'll be on tonight's agenda for approval. We were given an update on various projects here in the city. Pirate Drive, storm lines are in, the road bed has been brought up to grade. They should be pouring concrete soon, if not already, okay? Thelma Street project hit a bump. The storm sewer intakes were bad, so we had to get new ones made. So that project is running 2 weeks behind schedule right now. We were given a update on the tractor bid. We are going out for bid on a loader. Went to 3 different distributors for that. We discussed and talked about some drainage issues up on the north end of the city on Ranchero and Butterfield. We've got the city engineer reviewing some of that, checking grades, what we're gonna need to do to dig out ditches, maybe storm sewer cleans, things like that. We had 2 sewer adjustments, one at 317 Eldora and one at 4264 Ranchero. The Eldora adjustment was 3792 and the Ranchero adjustment was 851.22.
Yeah.
Watering the lawn.
Yeah. They didn't put on their own gauge.
Right.
7 meters, so use the adjustment.
New sod, that's even worse, okay.
We also discussed the blowers at the sewer plant. We talked about adding a soft start for those to help conserve the motor's life. The project's gonna probably run around $27,000 with that soft start, but I think it's a necessary plan for us to go down, so. And we adjourned at 7:30.
Any questions for Jeff?
I did have one, what was the question I Never mind, it'll come up later.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
No public hearings, general government. Item A, discussion action to approve the third reading of ordinance 832, an ordinance amending the code of ordinances of the city of Hudson, Iowa by adding chapter 24, city administrator. Have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Buns,
Aye.
Lawson,
Aye.
Engel.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Item B, discussion action to approve the third reading of ordinance 833, an ordinance providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the June 2020 addition to the Hudson Northern Tier Commercial Urban Renewal District pursuant to section 403.19 of the Code of Iowa.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Roll call. Buns,
Aye.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Engel,
Aye.
Lawson,
Aye.
carries 4-0.
Item C, discussion action to approve resolution 2654, resolution accepting the lowest bid for the ball field dugouts and benches. Low bid for dugouts was $9,017 each for 8 dugouts, and then the benches will be separately installed, and that total bid was somewhere around $11,000.
For
So-
all of them, not
For all.
individually.
Yep.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it. Okay, so the benches, first of all, $11,000 for benches.
10,130.40. What they are is they are aluminum, so there'll be no maintenance to them. They also have a back bench or seat, so you can either put supplies onto it or actually be able to sit on it as well.
Where are they coming from?
Okay.
K, they did come from K?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and that's obviously, I know they usually give us a discount for the city, and
That is what the discount is.
Yeah, 10% discount,
8 benches though.
that's still over $1,000.
$1,266.
It was way, way more for us to build them.
Exactly.
Well, I'm not even worried
Way
about that.
more.
Do
And
we need all
maintenance.
that? I mean, the other part that I'm going to here with this, and I know tournaments, I know all that. Tournaments are gonna be once, twice, 3 times a year. I mean, there are tournaments every single weekend that you already go to, so how are you gonna host tournaments and get enough
You
people
would
to
be
come there?
surprised how many places are looking for open fields
I
to
still
to
just-
hold tournaments.
To me, this amount is completely over the top for kids' ball program paid for by the city. I know other places that have done these types of projects, especially the first one that comes to my mind is the Dike area, had huge grants that they got with this. Their city did not pay for that full amount of this. So to pay $72,000 for dugouts for little kids' ball fields, I think is completely over the top. When kids pay $35 a season to play, even getting tournaments to come in, even if they, $400, $500, $600 that you guys play, or they pay for a tournament, you still have umpires to pay out of that, you've got field rental, you've got everything else that goes with that. So it's not like that's gonna be a multi-thousand, tens of thousands of dollars that you're making off of these. So this is a lot of expense to put in with no funding from anywhere other than the city. When kids usually played, again, I come back to when I was a kid, things are completely different, I get that. But to have to pay $75,000 or $72,000 for, again, dugouts is a lot of money when it cost us $150,000 and the city only put in $15,000 for the entire splash pad. This is a big expense.
I look at, I was hesitant early on, especially when we were having bids come back at 120,000 instead of the 72,000 we've got on this. One of the reasons that we are going with steel construction, we're going with aluminum benches is, to me, hopefully they'll last 20 years. 20 years at $85,000 is $4,000 to $5,000 a year. I look at it, having committed upfront $4,000 to $5,000 a year for the program. I'm not looking at it at $82,000 price tag.
I think you've got to look at it as an $82,000 price tag, because that's still what's coming out of there. And again, the kids program that we have, the city program, does not put any money back into the coffers as far as I know, because it's all from shirts and uniforms. Is that correct or not? I don't know that answer.
I
I'm
don't
not sure.
understand the question.
The
They might
$30 or
put back
$35 that those kids
Bring
pay.
some.
Yeah,
I also look at it with the fact that we're doing Pirate Drive, we're doing Upper Ridges, okay? we're gonna be improved street, we're gonna have improved parking lot. I like to have the rest of that operation look at that same upscale. The other thing is it may be the trigger that gets Clausen to jump and bring in, which means more houses up through there.
I don't think you're, I don't think you can
I'm not
associate.
doing on that bet. I
No,
think
but
it's what
what, hold on though, what I'm saying is, I'm not disagreeing with having a great ball field up there. But why in the hell is the city paying for all of it if we didn't go look for any sort of additional income to come from somewhere else? I mean, there is no additional money coming in from this from Guernsey Foundation could be applied for, Wellmark could be applied for. There's other grants that are out there that would lessen the city's burden with just a little bit more of pre-planning with this. And I've said that all along. I know we've planned on this and talked about this for a really long time. But a year and a half ago, I said, let's start looking for grants. And nobody's ever looked for any grants with that. I am not in favor of spending $72,000 for a kids program. I'm just not, absolutely not. Because I think that's taxpayer money that's gonna go into that, that's being used 3 months a year, right? 4 months a year if you're using it with tournaments, okay? But same thing with that up there. It was a grant-fueled thing that the city did not have to pay that much money for everything that went with it. I just think there's no reason that something couldn't be looked at. Take another 3 months, take another 6 months, go into next season. You're already on past this season anyway, you know? Let's figure out a way to get some assistance with this rather than the city taking on this whole burden coming from tax dollars.
If we approve this tonight, can we still go and look for grants?
No, it's approving the city to pay for this amount.
You can still go,
You can still
you
go
can
get
still
it.
go and look for
And
grants,
apply.
because we haven't purchased anything.
Okay.
But that's the other thing too. Before you purchase anything, those grants have to be in place because a lot of those grants do not reimburse afterwards. You have to do it beforehand.
And we got a completion date of,
May 1st of 2021.
so we've got time to apply for those grants
If,
before I,
if we instruct Holmes and Braden, if we give them the contract,
to finish.
to not start until we've had ample time.
Right.
And I don't know how much came into play on their bid on the basis of being able to start it whenever they wanted to.
Not my issue with that, you know what I mean? I just think I think it's exorbitant for a kid's ballpark to spend $75,000 without at least looking for other avenues of funding when it's taxpayer money.
And is this funding coming from reserves?
It's coming from, the recreation reserves as well as economic development.
So yeah, even that, I didn't know it was coming from economic development.
Part of it.
Part of it.
You know what, I know there's money in there, you know, but is that the best use of those dollars too? You know, it's ball diamonds, I get it, it's bringing
Yeah, but
people
you're
to.
supporting hundreds of families in the city, so how is that not a good use of economic development money?
Are you bringing in other economic that's coming from it? I mean, that's why I'm asking this
That's
question.
the plan. I mean, that, you say 3 to 4 months, I'm telling you right now, my kids play ball from basically March till October, November, if we can play.
Okay, so 6 months,
Yeah,
okay? So again,
I'm just saying, I'm not saying that that's gonna be the be-all, save-all of bringing money in, but I'm with George on the fact that we literally haven't spent any money on those ballparks since they put them in 20 years ago.
I'm all for upgrading, don't get me wrong, I'm not
And
saying that.
so
at
we're
all.
only really giving that ballpark about $4,000 to $5,000 a year. That we haven't invested 20 years worth of, for 20 years, we haven't put any money into that ballpark.
Again, I'm okay with that, but I think there needs to be, there's so many other resources out there that could backfill part of that in, that to me, there's no reason not to look for some of those and say we're gonna commit $72,000 of the city's money to this. That's my whole thing with this. I don't care if you wanna do it. Again, coming from a person that doesn't have kids involved in it, so it's a whole different ballgame for me. But you need that other perspective too, because you can't say, my kids are in this, so I think we need to do this, and that's not what anybody's doing. But what I'm saying is coming from that outside perspective, holy heck, why are we spending $75,000 on a little kid's boat program that play for second graders that could sit on a bench that they don't care if it's made of wood or aluminum
But you
or what
say
it's
that,
made
but
of.
it's not just 7th graders. You're playing all the way up through 8th grade, basically,
Even so,
you know.
So,
But that's a lot of
14-year-olds.
families that we're supporting, not any different than the golf course. I mean, how much money did we probably put into that every single year? Greens, taking care of the maintenance of that golf course.
the maintenance of it, again, yeah.
Yeah,
And when
you
they
know,
built it
so-
originally, they had grants for it. They did volunteer work to do it. They didn't take a ton of city money to do it.
But they didn't have grants for it all the time that they were maintaining
I'm
it.
not saying we should.
I'm just, we're
I
just
get you,
healthy conversation.
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't disagree that it would be great to find grants, but I wanna know who's taking the time to do that. Yeah, that's the magical question right there.
That's not my issue. I mean, I took the head on a project and found grants for. I'm not gonna do it for every one of them, you know, but that's our job, is to do that and not spend that money when it's not have to be.
Can we go ahead and approve this then, and then ask Holmes and Brady not to start
That'll be-
that this year?
that'll
Why
be
is
a
there a
little
hurry?
hard.
Okay.
That's gonna be a little hard to tell them, hey, you won, but
Yeah.
don't start. I think if our communication is, if we can have somebody write some grants, then possibly. But we're gonna have to find that person. I don't hear a volunteer jumping up to write grants.
Well, that's my
Chrissy?
job, so,
You able to do it?
yeah, I won't be able to do it tomorrow, but,
So we gotta volunteer.
well, that's my job though.
I know.
So-
I'm
And I-
not,
and I
Chrissy,
had
I'm not picking on
No,
you.
And I had
But I'm
not
just-
instructed her to go after that, because we've been talking
I
throughout
don't
the public
know that
works
we
and throughout the
wanna-
park and rec, as far as doing it from reserve.
Tell.
Why, we're not in a hurry. I mean, we got 2 weeks and we're coming back to another meeting.
We can definitely hold off on the benches, without a doubt,
I don't think you wanna split them up.
you know.
They're split anyways.
No, but if you're gonna apply for a grant, you don't wanna split them up and have to apply for a grant for this and a grant for that and everything else, cause you're not gonna get them. Bunch it together, but you're not in a hurry at this point. They're not gonna be done this season.
My opinion, prove it, move
Don't bet on
forward.
that.
Because what's gonna happen, they're gonna come back and adjust that bid based on lumber cost. So now, instead of 72,000, it's 82,000. I hear the same argument, but now it's even more.
I still vote no, unfortunately. I mean, I'm
And
just
that's
saying.
your right, you have the right to vote no.
Absolutely, but I
You know-
just think it's, again, we gotta think of it as taxpayer money that's going up there. That if there's other sources out there, why would we not take another month, another 2
So,
months, whatever, to do
My
that?
question is this. Being the first year,
Mhm.
how long has this been riding
2 years.
and no action?
I'm not on the, I'm,
We got action, we got the bids. As Public Works, we decided, yes, it's favorable.
I still think, I mean, again, that's up to you guys. I'm just gonna say that that amount of money is a lot of money for a park and rec thing. I'm all for developing parks and upgrading that ballpark, 100%. But why in the heck, over the 2 years, we haven't looked for those grants, because we've been talking about it. The words grant have come out of my mouth at least 100 times with
But I
it.
don't think anybody anticipated a dugout to cost this much. I mean, the projects that we've already done to upgrade the ballpark haven't been astronomically
No, but even
priced.
3 months ago when we got the $100,000 bids, or 2 months ago when we got that $100,000 bid, that should have been a kickoff right there. Oh crap, what can we apply for, what can we start looking for? Instead of just assuming that we'll just take it out of this. You know, again, it's, to me, it's no different than upgrading that park up there, which we did for a total cost of $15,000 to the city, not the rest, not $150,000.
I guess not listening to you.
I,
Okay.
no, I hear you, it's
Chrissy,
fine, but.
how long do you usually take to hear back from applying for grants?
It depends on grant cycles.
That's it.
It
But
could be, yeah. it could-
But if we haven't researched any, we don't know when any of the grant cycles are due. It should have been last year that we should have been applying for these to get them on so that they're ready for this time. You know, but and then again, it's a city project. You have to have the bids to be able to pay for, to be able to apply for the grants, because you gotta know how much the grants are. That's the way the whole game works. But to say, let's do it, you know, why are we in such a huge hurry? If that money is out there, don't we owe it to those people that pay into it to take the extra time and find the extra money? Because if we go and say we're gonna spend this, and then something else happens that we wanna do and there's not money in somewhere else to do that, you know, again, it's long-term planning in my head and just looking for that. That's why I've said this the whole time. This is not a new conversation that I've had with anybody.
So we got a motion and a second to it.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the first
Okay.
question. Does anybody want to put an amendment onto the motion?
Yes. Or I move that we table this for 2 years. And then
You
do
better
some.
go back to the high bidder and make sure he's okay to protect that price for 2 weeks.
We can do that.
Because I know lumber's going up, so. I'm okay with that tabling, but we gotta be fair to our bidder.
But we gotta be fair to our citizens before we gotta be fair to our.
Correctly, I agree 100%,
Mhm.
but don't be surprised if that bid doesn't go up.
Then we apply for a bigger grant. I mean, you know, to me, again, depot project's gonna be the same way. I wouldn't expect the city to pay for that whole project, you know, let's go look for grants and find them.
I totally agree on that one.
You know, same thing to me. It's all economic development, I could say that too about there.
They're not the same to me, but that's just my opinion. So, you're making an amendment to the motion? Or you
Well, I just
moving to
moved that
table?
we table it for 2
Do you
weeks.
have a second to that?
I'll second that.
All in favor to that amendment?
I would do roll call.
Roll call.
Lawson,
Nay.
Buns,
Aye.
Engel,
No.
Wyatt.
Yes.
It's
So the
tied.
amendment to table fails, correct? Now, we'll go to the motion to approve the resolution. Roll call.
Roll call. Wyatt,
No.
Engel,
Aye.
Lawson,
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Motion
Passes 3 to
passes.
0. Or 3 to 1, I'm sorry.
But we will start, when Christie gets back on Monday, looking for
I'll be back
grants.
on Wednesday, I'm
You
just off
got-
tomorrow.
okay. And we will keep the council apprised with what she comes up with as far as the opportunities, what the timings are, and where it's at.
Good discussion.
Good discussion. And I miss for not having brought that up a year and a half ago. Where are we at?
You are on 2655, which is D.
Item D, okay.
Yep.
Discussion action to approve resolution 2655, a resolution for approval of road closures for AMVET's Rider Ride and lunch for American AMVET Post 82, and that would be on August 24th. Time to be determined, probably from the post office to Lincoln Savings Bank.
August 22nd.
Or 22nd.
Second.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Lawson,
Aye.
Buns,
Aye.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Engel.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
You're gonna get with them to see if they need any barricades or anything?
We
Yeah.
had already talked.
Rock on. Thank you.
Yep.
Item E, discussion action to approve resolution 2656, a resolution to pay BCC advisors and approve the contract and advance fee for appraisal of the Hudson Municipal Electric Utility in the amount of $5,500. What this is a contract, what I'm asking for is a motion to approve the contract subject to Steve Nadel's review of it. He's the attorney HMU has hired for the whole project. He had not reviewed the contract, but we would have him review the contract, and I want the resolution to, subject to his review, approving the contract, and at that time, the advance payment. We will not send it until we have the contract approved for the appraisal.
Oh, it's the contract to appraise it?
Yes, we have to have, per state regulations, if we're disposing of a utility, we have to have two appraisers.
Right.
One, we can select the appraiser. The other one has to be off of a list of their approved appraisers.
Okay.
We're still working on that one. We haven't found anybody
This is the one
yet.
that we're selecting.
This is the one we're selecting for the starters. We'll probably end up having to pay for both of them.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Engel,
Aye.
Buns,
Aye.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Motion carry 4-0.
Item F, discussion action to approve resolution 2657, a resolution to approve the cost estimate to install underground primary and secondary wiring to Upper Ridges Estates Third Edition. This would be the amount of $100,040.31 to be paid to HMEU for them to be able to pay the contractors, and this would be recovered through TIF.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, Kate?
I'm very confused by this.
Yeah, I mean,
So why are we doing this and not HMEU?
We are paying HMEU to put it in. The deal with HMEU is they decided a year and a half ago that they could not afford to ever give rebates to any developers. So what we priced into the entire Upper Ridges 3, and I talked about that every time we went through the development, is the TIF proceeds will pay the bond that we have to put in the streets, and it will also recover this $100,000 investment for the electric utilities.
It will be able to recover it
Yes,
from
it will.
TIF? Okay,
Yep.
okay.
We just couldn't put it on the bond because it is a whole bunch more there's a whole bunch of other hurdles that you have to.
Right, but we can
But as
be able
approved by
to,
Megan, other than, yes, and John Dennis, we can recover this through the TIF.
Okay,
Right
perfect.
along with the bond.
okay.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Lawson,
Aye.
Engel,
Aye.
Buns,
Aye.
Wyatt,
Aye.
motion carry 4-0.
Item G, discussion action to approve resolution 2568, a resolution approving the transfer of funds for July 2020. And this is a standard transfer.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Wyatt,
Aye.
Engel,
Aye.
Buns,
Aye.
Lawson,
Aye.
carried 4-0.
Item H, discussion action to approve fuel purchases for the city of Hudson. Disseminated earlier that Kate suggested that we really research the cost versus value of getting our fuel from Cedar Falls. We did an in-depth analysis, and what it really ends up being is we can save more labor cost from the police department than what we're saving in the cost differential. In the case, so it kind of really covers it there. From the standpoint of Public Works, however, it's actually a little bit more beneficial to use Cedar Falls
For diesel,
for diesel.
not for regular gas, but for
Right,
diesel.
not for
But
regular
if
gas,
we're getting
but-
diesel, the tanks are in our pickups, so.
Absolutely, if you're there, I would say
Right.
just do the whole thing, obviously. But
So-
if you were just gonna go fill up a F-150,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah, not a straight run through, right. So what I'm asking for is a motion to implement a policy for the public, for the police, to begin getting all their fuel needs locally, and for Public Works to have either one at their discretion. But as you said, making a straight trip for gas, no, but if they're gonna fuel up anyway to get all their tanks full, it's a lot better off.
right,
like our water and sewer guys, our lab for all of our lab testing.
is up in Industrial Park anyway.
Yeah, so we might as well stop there and fill
And
up.
the reason I want it as a policy as opposed to a resolution, so that there's expressed latitude within it.
Yeah, I also think though that, I mean, obviously, they know, everybody else knows. If you're gonna go while you're on the way up there, that's one thing, but if you're already back here and then say, oh crap, now I need gas, it's just a little pre-planning to make sure everybody thinks ahead a little bit of
And
that
we
stuff too, and you guys
actually-
do pretty good with that, I'm sure,
In the
anyway.
winter, we buy a lot of diesel down here, because they've got better mixes down here.
Sure.
So most of the time in the winter, we're buying our diesel here.
Well, and George and I talked about future potentials too, that if we do get a new City Works building, whatever the case may be, is there a diesel
Yeah.
tank in our future and all that
Yeah,
good
if
stuff,
we get a
so.
500-gallon tank there, they come and fill it up.
Right, which is down the road, but
Right.
this gives us that latitude too, to be able to explore other things and just make sure, again, that cost savings is there as much as we can be, so. I appreciate all the work you did on looking into this.
So moved.
I think it was already, wasn't,
Mm-mm.
no.
No.
Oh, second,
Further
Discussed it
discussion?
before.
Right. Roll call.
Nope, you don't have to roll.
Oh, I don't?
Nope. just
Okay.
a
All
wish.
in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There you go.
I know this.
Carried.
We threw that in just as a wrinkle. 'cause you
I
hadn't-
guess.
Test.
Got a number of informational items in there, reminder items, regular scheduled meetings held at council chambers except electric board and utility board. Next Public Works Committee meeting, August 12th, 7 a.m. Mayor's Task Force, August 18th at 5 p.m. Personnel Admin Finance, August 24th, 4:45 p.m. Public Safety Committee meeting, August 27th at 4 p.m. Council meetings, August 10th. Reminder on the August 10th meeting, unless plans change, there will be a 6:30 open town hall meeting with Sheriff Thompson and Nafisa Ceci-Bonnier, talking about the COVID crisis, what went right, what went wrong, looking for public input as far as how that whole thing went. So we'll want to get out of here hopefully by 6:30 and get down to that. We'll have something going out, I think, advising the community. Have to talk to the paper, maybe. We'll have to make sure with Tony and Nafisa that that's still on.
Yeah, I don't
Rather
know
than
if
get something
we
out.
did anything, but it's something, if they wanna, if Tony or Dr. Nafisa wants to put
Okay.
something together, they can always just email me and I can stick it in the
Okay.
paper.
We'll
But
get
it'll
that.
have to happen soon.
Yep. Then August 27th is the other, gotta be August 24th city council
Sorry,
meeting, right?
yep,
Okay.
forgot.
Motion
Last
adjourned?
meeting on Thursday.
so moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Matt's not here, we made that one go too far.